On to the Denver Broncos, Colin. Weird-ish situation. So they lose the AFC Championship, and yesterday the Broncos fired their offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Joe Lombardi.
Weird.
And 2 other assistants. Wait, it gets better. No. So all the criticism is for that 4th down call. It's like, bro, Lombardi's not calling the plays. That was all Sean Payton, as we heard from our guest, Wickersham, earlier.
There's a young guy on the staff, I think it's Davis Webb, that everybody thinks is the next hot shot, and maybe Lombardi was sort of blocking his ascension within the staff. I think Lombardi's got I always thought he had a decent reputation, good reputation. I think sometimes Payton, and it's hard. You don't want to be Aaron Glenn and get rid of everybody, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world every year to tweak somebody on your staff. I don't think that's terrible. I think there's history that proves. Remember when the Bucs won the title and they brought everybody back the following year? And it's like, I think there is an argument to be made. You should change your roster by 10 to 12%, and you should probably move off a couple of coaches just for freshness, new eyes, new narrative, new point of view. Lombardi will get a job. That's not that. I mean, I don't think this is a. I don't think this speaks to some level of incompetence by Lombardi. No. I think Sean's moving off, and he's got a young guy in the staff that he wants to elevate. Davis Webb has been interviewing around the league for OC, and I think he got some head coaching, which is a little crazy. He's a young guy. This guy was a backup like 5 years ago. Yeah. And now all of a sudden he's interviewing for jobs. So the best way to keep him on staff is to kind of bounce somebody, which it's a cold world out there, Colin. That is rough. That's a tough way to treat a veteran. Lombardi's like 54 years old. He's been around the league. I would just say, Bo Nix, you thought he had a good season. Lombardi clearly, as the OC, did something in that room. That's a tough one, Sean Payton.
No, it's not. What are you talking about? Because Sean Payton is essentially the offensive coordinator. He's the play caller. He's the play designer. He's the one that's managing all of this. When you are the offensive head coach, the coordinator is really just an extension of the coach in that regard. And, Sean Payton is looking to upgrade. Champagne is looking for maybe, a little bit more of newness, a little bit more of a collaborative, wants someone else, someone younger, someone who can bring a little bit more to the table, who he feels can run the practices better. Because when Sean Payton is dealing with other stuff, the offensive coordinator is now taking over film study, all the other various stuff that can happen, that he just wants a little bit more. And so there's nothing weird about this. This is just management. And when he's saying, oh, the big problem was the 4th quarter, the 4th down call. Bro, you're the play caller. And it's just Sean Payton has taken complete responsibility for it. This isn't one of those situations where he's firing someone because he's the problem. It's understood. And that Sean Payton is the one that makes those decisions. It's on him, and there's no confusion about it. This isn't a Dan Campbell, a Harbaugh, a Sirianni type thing where you can fire the coordinator because you're just that wasn't my fault. That was that guy's fault. That's not what's happening here. So don't try to paint the picture as it being as such, because it's not. This isn't Sean Payton being oh, we lost because of that call and I blame you, Lombardi. That's not the case. But there also can be other stuff that Sean Payton is relying on in those moments where he's Joe, you gave me the wrong information at the wrong time. Or you gave me this look and it was, yes, I'm the one that made the call, but it was bad. Think of it also sometimes like a head chef. If you ever watch Hell's Kitchen or something, and Chef Ramsay is not the one who's cooking all the food, it's the other people. But they're bringing up the food, and he's now making sure that everything is great. Some of these offensive head coaches are going to have some of that level of collaboration. Again, it's always hard to know exactly, but Sean is talking with him, right? And there could be a point where he's just I'm not satisfied with the information. I'm just not satisfied with the relationship, the way how this dynamic is working, what you're bringing to the table in any given moment, and so that's really what a move. This is more about, rather than just saying, hey, we lost, there was an issue, here you go. You want to say, oh, well, Bo Nix has been really good, and, Lombardi is a reason for that. Says who? Says who? Where are you inventing that right now? Where are you inventing that? So, listen, I will concede that it's always a little tricky, when you have these defensive coaches and their defensive coordinators, and the offensive coaches and their offensive coordinators, how exactly these things unfold. But these coaches have essentially like 90%, if not more, of what's happening on their side of the ball. Like, they are responsible. Like, it is Sean Payton, it is Andy Reid, it is Sean McVay, it is Shanahan, but you also can have collaboration, Shanna and McDaniel, without a doubt. We're a little bit of a think tank together. And so when you are a great coach and you are, and you do hire like another coordinator, you are relying on like, hey, what do you like? What do you got for me? Which follows the chef analogy even more. When you become an established chef and you run a restaurant or something, you can hire other chefs and they develop stuff. And if they develop an amazing dish, an awesome dessert or something, you're like, this is my dessert. Like you developed it in my kitchen, but like, it's under my roof, like it's my dessert. And a lot of times those other chefs will work with them and with the new chefs and be like, this is good, but you need to add a crunch to it. They're like, I was thinking about toasted almonds. And it's like, no, this is not almonds. Macadamia nuts is better for this. And so even though like 95% was now developed by the new chef, the actual GOAT chef, the existing chef is like, I kind of took it to the next level here. Or I can keep using examples. Mad Men, when Peggy and Don are fighting and she's like, it was my idea and you got the award. And he's like, you gave me a kernel of an idea and I turned it into a commercial. Like a lot of times that's also how some of these relationships are going to work. And so he reached a point where he's like, I want something different to be feeding my way. So like there's no reason to zero in on even the fourth down call with a decision like this. Bo Nick's development with a thing like this, because it's still ultimately Sean Payton pulling all the strings. He just wants new energy, new information, new ideas coming his way, or someone that he believes he can direct in a more successful manner. Because if Sean Payton doesn't want that, well then he's moving on, because he's then, which I doubt that's the case, because otherwise you would just keep a Lombardi at that point. But all in all, I'm totally on board with this decision, and I think it makes total sense. And to try to turn it into something that it's not just doesn't quite frankly make any sense to me. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Denver Broncos? Moving on from some coaches and some people, how do you feel about it? What does it mean to you? Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.